Good morning. Good morning. How's everyone doing? Hope you are well this morning. Today is May 11th, 2023, 10:51 a.m. on the East Coast. Can we get a mic check? Mic check. Can you hear me okay? Good morning. Good morning. Yes, just reading about Natalie. We are finally, hopefully, getting somewhere. Good to see you all. So I had a live streamed for um, summer in just a few minutes from now. However, I want to do it later this evening because I've got video and stuff to play. So I figured I'll just go ahead and do it this evening because right now I'm out and I can only yeah, it may not be good quality and all of that. So I just want to really do it more justice. Um, Thank you for the mic check. Appreciate it. So yeah, it'll be about. I think I have it scheduled for 6 p.m. Eastern. A lot of interesting information um, regarding with that. Um, uh, Also, want to give a trigger warning. This is what I'm about to read is not related to Natalie Holloway, but it's related with Tennessee, and this is in Sullivan County, Tennessee, 3100 block of Hickory Tree Road. Helicopter responding to subject down. Initially thought to have been struck by vehicle. Uh, Advising medical condition. Pediatric patient reportedly fell off a school bus and was dragged for unknown distance. Bravo trauma alert being transported by helicopter. So that's not good. That's not good. So it sounds like a kid maybe fell off a bus in Sullivan County and the child was dragged for an unknown distance. They are transporting the child by helicopter. So if you guys will just say a prayer, um, and that was breaking just a little bit ago. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if like the child was getting on the bus this morning and getting off the bus. I don't know, you know, but something is not good with that at all. No, no, no. Natalie has she's not been found. She's not been found. But this has been going on since 2005. No, they haven't found Summer. Mary, no, they haven't. The child fell through the doors, according to ICU. No, neither Natalie or Summer. No one's been found at all. Just want to make that very clear. I wish, but that is not the case. Hello, Kia. Hello, Mary, and everyone else streaming on Kick with me right now. Thank you all. For those of you on YouTube, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up button, those are very, very important to us right now, to our channels. Um, Very important. So, this is Kendall Ray. fellow YouTuber. Love Kendall Ray. Um, she's probably one of my favorite true crimers as far as just doing the videos and stuff like that. Very good soul. Been watching her for years. She has this press release, and it's Jordan Vandersloot, which is the person who is believed to have killed Natalie. Statement from Beth Holloway. This is from Beth Holloway, Natalie Holloway's mother. And, when we talk about a mother fighting for their kids, this is a mother that has never, ever stopped from literally searching for her daughter to changing laws to meeting with lawmakers to doing public events and on and on and on. This is a mother that provides and makes things happen. She has literally moved, not literally, but the saying is heaven and earth to find her daughter in every way possible. And she's never given up. So this is from Beth Holloway, Natalie Holloway's mother. In May 2005, my 18-year-old daughter, Natalie Holloway, left Birmingham uh, for Aruba to attend her high school graduation trip and never seen again. She was abducted and murdered there. Now, almost exactly 18 years later, the predator, Jordan Vandersloot, has been extradited to Birmingham to answer for his crimes. He has been in prison in Peru, pardon me, for murdering another young girl there named Stephanie Flores in 2010. While I have much more to say later about what is happening, for now I want to express my sincere gratitude to President Dina Bolaroot, I guess that's how you pronounce it, the president of Peru, the warm people of Peru, the family of Stephanie Flores, the FBI in Miami, Florida, and in Birmingham, Alabama, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Birmingham, the U.S. Embassy in Peru, and the Peruvian Embassy in the U.S. My longtime attorney, John Q. Kelly, who has worked tirelessly in this case, and George Seymour and Mark Wachenheim, uh, sorry, it's small, of Patriot. Most importantly, I especially want to thank uh, Greta Van Sturten, I don't know, who has become a very close friend and who has worked diligently uh, with me for 18 years investigating and working to get justice and never giving up. I was blessed to have Natalie in my life for 18 years. And as and as of this month, I have been without her for exactly 18 years. She would be 36 years old now. God, it makes me want to cry. It it has been a very long and painful journey, but the persistence of many is going to pay off. Together, we finally get justice for Natalie. Um, Thank you, Mary, so much. I appreciate you, my dear. Thank you for your super sticker. It's very kind of you. Um, I mean, think about this. This is a mother who hasn't stopped, and Natalie was 18 years old when she went missing, and it has been 18 years since she went missing. Okay, let's pull this up. Suspect in Natalie Holloway Aruba disappearance to be extradited to the United States. Pardon me, I got a frog in my throat. Hello, Kia. Good to see you, my dear. Well, hold on. Brick, I said. I said brick. Where was it? Okay. Natalie Holloway suspect Jordan Vandersloot to be extradited to U.S., Beth Holloway says. Jordan Vandersloot, the prime suspect in the 2005 disappearance of Natalie Holloway. Who remembers this? Who remembers the Natalie Holloway? Put a one in the chat because I want to talk about a story. This is when, you know, this is when Nancy Grace and Greta and all of them, it was like bombshell report tonight. It's when we had like the true crime major outlets doing news. I miss those. Like I miss Nancy Grace's true crime, and HLN and all that. Like I really miss that. Sorry guys, I got a frog in my throat I can't get rid of. Yes, the Nancy, you were great. Bombshell tonight. Okay. Who vanished while at the high school graduation class trip in Aruba, was extradited to the United States from Peru, her family said Wednesday. Holloway's mother, Beth Holloway, announced in a statement, quote, almost exactly 18 years later, uh, the perpetrator, Jordan Vandersloot, has been extradited to Birmingham to answer for his crimes, end quote, she said. Peruvian authorities agree to extradite Vandersloot, who is serving a 28-year prison sentence for the murder of 21-year-old Peruvian Stephanie Flores in 2010. So this man, right across from Natalie here, is a demon at the very best. A demon. It is not an accident that, you know, Natalie went missing and then he is charged and convicted in the Peruvian courts that he murdered another woman. He started very young. He came from a family of privilege and power, and they just happened to raise a psychopath as well. The Peruvian government has agreed to temporarily hand over the Dutch citizen to American authorities, quote, for his prosecution in the United States for the alleged commission of the crimes of extortion and fraud to the grievance of Elizabeth Ann Holloway, end quote. Peru Minister of Justice and Human Rights Daniel Romeo said in a statement. Uh, Gustavo something, Peruvian ambassador to the United States, said that he hopes, quote, this action will enable a process that will help to bring peace to Miss Holloway and to her family, who are grieving in the same way the Flores family in Peru was grieving for their loss of their daughter. Now, Vandersloot is one of the main suspects in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway, who failed to appear for her flight home to Birmingham, Alabama, May 30th, 2005, in Aruba. The 18-year-old was last seen leaving a bar early in the morning with the young Dutchman. Her body was never found, and the ensuing searches for the young woman would reap intense media scrutiny and worldwide attention. She was declared legally dead in 2014. Vandersloot was arrested at one point in connection with Holloway's disappearance, but was later released for the lack of evidence. The disappearance garnered worldwide attention and sparked a media frenzy. Did it ever? Ted Williams, a criminal defense attorney contributor who covered the Holloway case on the ground in Aruba dating back to 2005, called news of Vandersloot's extradition fantastic. I am elated, he says, and I think that this is fantastic that Jordan Vandersloot will be extradited to the United States and will be charged. Will some criminal acts associate with some criminal acts associated with Natalie Holloway, he told Fox Digital. All of the Holloway family has wanted is for Jordan to face justice, and now they very well may have that justice, Ted Williams. Authorities have not announced what type of charges Vandersloot could face. Williams said he anticipates him to be handed over to federal authorities once he touches U.S. soil, but doesn't expect him to confess to anything or make any statements. He added the legal process could be long and drawn out depending on what charges are imposed. So, some say it's going to be like fraud charges or whatever. Um, because didn't he like steal some money or something? Maybe it's been so long. Uh, Peas in the pod. I think she's probably in the ocean as well, but we don't know. Now, if you remember, one time he said, "Give me $270,000 or something, uh, and let me not face charges," or something to that effect, "and I will take you to her," meaning take you to Natalie Holloway. But um, that never panned out, and they're not going to. Yes, his father was a judge. Yes, yeah. So Flores was killed 5 years after the day Holloway, who was from Alabama, disappeared. Vandersloot told police he killed the woman in Peru in a fit of rage after she discovered on his laptop his connection to the disappearance of Holloway. Police forensic experts disputed this claim. In her statement, Beth Holloway noted that the daughter would be 36 years old today. Pardon me. In a very long, it's been a very long and very painful journey, but the persistence of many is going to pay off, she said. Together, we will finally get justice for Natalie. Um, let me show you this.
Joining me right now are two very special guests that I feel as if I know like the back of my hand. We
Can y'all hear
work
that?
so much seemingly together. First of all, Natalie's father, Dave Holloway. Dave, to this day, I just hate so much what you've been through. Thank you for being with us. And TJ Ward, formerly on the force in Atlanta and Fulton County. So we've gone way, way back together, who ends up being a private investigator in the Natalie Holloway case. Welcome to both of you guys. Let me just start with you, Dave. Dave, number one, I can't believe we're right here, right now, and the case is still not solved. Can you believe that?
It's hard to believe. I thought that in the beginning we'd be over there. And
Now, just an FYI, I believe this video is from last year because Nancy Grace went there last year. Thank you so much, Darzilla. I wish he would tell what happened to Natalie. Sadly, I don't think she will be found. I know.
right back within just a couple of
And
days.
Darzilla.
Here it is now, almost 16 years later, and we don't know probably any more than we knew the first day.
Dave Holloway, when you first let her go on the trip to Aruba, were you worried?
Well, when she initially asked me to go to Aruba, I denied it. And of course, I didn't even know where Aruba was at the time. I couldn't.
This is Natalie Holloway's father.
Pointed out on a map. And after thinking about it for a few days, I relented and allowed her to go, since I found out more details about the trip and that it was supposedly going to be chaperoned and 130 other kids in her class were going.
She really wanted to go, didn't she?
Oh yeah, it's a rite of passion.
People to this day, including myself, watch this case like a hawk, waiting for that tip, that information that will crack the case open. Now, we know who's responsible for Natalie Holloway's death. It's Jorn van der Sloot, the judge's son. And I've always thought the judge.
This is van der Sloot and his father right here in this photo. A judge.
Helped cover up her death, by the way. Jorn van der Sloot doesn't have the sense to pull that off. Somebody had to help him. But let me ask you, Dave, you guys have been on a 16-year, I started to say journey, but it's more like an odyssey. And you're actually very inspirational to me because you've never, ever given up. What are some of the tips that you have followed over these years, Dave?
Oh, I tell you, Nancy, there's been so many that I probably had forgotten half of them. The bloody mattress that turned out to be the blood of a dog, a false grave, a barrel we pulled out of the ocean, crab traps that supposedly contained her remains. She's in Venezuela, she's in Colombia.
Can you imagine just being a parent and not only losing your child and knowing who did it, but not having enough to convict this guy? And the laws are different in a different country, and it's really hard to extradite to begin with. And then having all of these blood of a dog on a mattress, and they thinking that it could be Natalie's and all that. Just a freaking nightmare. Just hell on earth. Oh my God. Bless him.
She's locked up in a certain house. The list just goes on and on and on. And you always think the answer is just right around the corner. It's kind of like your emotions are like a roller coaster ride. It's up and down, and you think, well, the end's coming just around the corner, and it never comes. But Lady Justice, I still believe in her, and I always think that, you know, if I keep on keeping on, she'll finally get him. You know, love for your kids goes a long ways.
It really does. It really does.
The love for your kid goes a long way. Isn't that the truth? And they certainly have loved her through it all, right?
I'm so fat. Brendan, you're not fat. It's the shirt.
1 second. Now this is a parents that have never, well, crap, never stopped. Let me see. Pull it up here. Maybe.
I'm so fat. Brendan, you're not fat. It's the shirt. Look at Nate. His true classic.
Okay, something's wrong with that video. We'll play this one.
Well, there are still questions, more questions than answers, nearly 17 years after the disappearance of Natalie Holloway. So Nancy Grace returned to the scene in search for the truth, where she came face to face with Aruba authorities at the very Holiday Inn where Natalie vanished. Watch.
So just think of, you know, Natalie Holloway's parents. They are separated now, by the way, and they have still, you know, are good friends, and Natalie is always been front row for them. But it's been 18 years. They've never said, I'm going to give up. Just a year after, maybe a little more than a year after Summer went missing, Candace said, it's time for me to move on. Well, you know, it's time for me to move on and focus on my boys now. My boys are alive. And Dawn just said a couple weeks ago that it's time to move on. Think of the difference. And it hasn't even been 2 years for Summer. It's a difference. It's a big difference. This is what
Aruba police and Holiday Inn staff falsely accused Beth, Cheryl, and me of trespassing and filming inside the Holiday Inn.
So this was last year. Nancy Grace and teammates went to Aruba, and they almost got arrested.
Another big lie by Aruban authorities. Those same cops threatened the local Aruban guide helping us. Shopkeepers on the street locked their doors in our faces. It's clear we are not welcome.
Nancy Grace is the host of Fox Nation's Natalie Holloway investigation. She joins me now. Nancy, great to see you. Sounds like the Aruban authorities don't really want this case revisited, and I'm wondering why exactly.
Well, it's spring break time, and all across the world, spring breakers are going to party. And Aruba does not want spring breakers to take a U-turn and leave because of the Natalie Holloway investigation. Our investigation was not just about Natalie, but about how to warn parents to protect their children when they go away on spring break.
You know, we've recently heard a lot of things coming from Mexico, you know, Mexico, American tourists and stuff. And, you know, you can never, ever be too safe, especially with young college kids, high school kids. And, you know, they don't want their tourism, because that's what, you know, Aruba is. It's all tourism. And so anything that hurts that, they'll throw you in jail. It's not United States laws there. It's a lot different.
Natalie Holloway's case was never solved. And can I tell you, almost the moment we put a toe on Aruban soil, the cops were there. When I heard Natalie's mother talk about what she was up against, trying to find her daughter, it was terrible. The cops wouldn't help her. They would have her sit in their offices for 7, 8, 9 hours and then stroll out, having come from the barber shop or getting pizza for lunch, and go, oh, yeah, we can't help you. They don't even have a 911 system in Aruba. And when you pull up to Aruba, be it in a cruise ship or you touch down, you see this facade of bars and fun places. Right behind that are crack houses and the worst things imaginable. And that's where Natalie went missing. We were nearly arrested, our Fox Nation team, nearly thrown in jail, trying to find out what happened to Natalie. Why?
Yeah, we were down there covering this for many years, and we always got treated kind of the same way, Nancy. But I'm wondering, Beth Holloway said in the video that you played, when you're looking for justice, you're not out to make friends. I'm curious, 17 years later, what specific?
You know, when I heard that, I thought again of Don and Candace. When you're looking for justice, you're not out to make friends. And that's what, Don always says. Come on, let's be friends, and it's with creators. And it's nothing about being friends, it's about finding your daughter. Uh, so, just a little note.
Walking, I was 18 crosses to the top of the hill, screaming and begging to
Listen to
God to
this.
try to find Natalie. And there was a chapel at the top of the hill. And when she got to the top of the hill and she went in that chapel, she said she knew then that Natalie was dead.
Yeah.
No help from Aruba to this day. Instead of helping us, they tried to arrest us.
Yep. Yeah, and I know, the prime test suspect remains Joran van der Sloot in this. He won't give up information because right now he's in a Peruvian prison serving another murder sentence. But I want to bring up, because he wrote this email to John Q. Kelly, who's Beth Holloway's attorney back in 2010.
Yeah.
He said the following here: I will do the right thing. This situation hurts everyone involved and will continue to do so until it is over. I will take you to Natalie, but I do not want it to be known.
Holy crap, Lorito says, I was handcuffed in Aruba for avoiding an accident. They extorted me $5,000 to get out. Will never visit there again. I wrote to Nancy last night and Lewis, the editor on Fox. And so, hey, if you would ever want to email me, I would love for you to come up and tell your story if you're comfortable with sharing it. That's interesting. Now listen to this right here. What uh, Vandersloot said.
The information came from me. In return, I want to receive $250,000. Any question in your mind, Nancy, that Joran van der Sloot is the killer in this case?
There's no question in my mind Joran van der Sloot murdered Natalie. I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
Yeah.
I don't know where her body is, but it's still there to be found. The only concern is if it's in the water, we may never find it. And I got to tell you, we went from one tip of Aruba to the other, and there are a lot of isolated places. And her body could be anywhere. Joran van der Sloot, rot in hell, number one, my message to him. He's in jail right now in Peru. Peruvian authorities have agreed to extradite him to the U.S. on extortion charges. I guarantee you he's going to fight it again. He's got a wife and a baby, drugs, alcohol, sex behind bars. Why would he leave?
Why would he leave? Nancy Grace, the best of luck with this investigation. We'll all be watching Fox Nation. Great to see you as always. And Dana, you know, we covered this case for years because it was just so fascinating and so horrifying. And, you know, the information we turned up was always very small.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, I'll tell you what, if you ever have a problem, you want Nancy Grace on your side. That's for sure.
You do.
All right. Thank you, Trace.
So that's really something. Let me pull up one more thing here.
This morning, nearly 2 decades after Natalie Holloway disappeared, the main suspect in the case, Joran Vandersloot, will be extradited to the United States on charges stemming from the search for Holloway. Peru's government making the rare agreement to transport Vandersloot to the U.S. from his cell in a Peruvian prison, where he's serving a 28-year sentence for the 2010 murder of another young woman, 21-year-old Stephanie Flores. Once back on American soil, Vandersloot will face fraud and extortion charges in Alabama, where he was indicted in 2010 for allegedly demanding $250,000 from Holloway's mother, Beth, in exchange for information leading to where the teen was buried.
So that's how they're doing the extortion charge whenever he tried to more or less bribe them, saying, oh, okay, I'll tell you where her body is. So he wasn't that smart, sucker.
Overnight, Beth announcing the long-awaited extradition, writing she would have been 36 years old now. It has been a very long and painful journey, but the persistence of many is going to pay off. Together, we are finally getting justice for Natalie. 18 years ago this month, Holloway disappeared on the last night of a high school class trip to Aruba. According to Aruban police, she was last seen with Vandersloot, a Dutch national living on the island, after what was described as a night of drinking. In 2006, Vandersloot sat down with ABC News and recounted the last time he says he saw Holloway.
Yeah, the last time I saw her, she was sitting on the sand by the ocean.
And
he just looks like a little prick to me, to put it bluntly. Just a little spoiled prick. Like he is psychotic.
And when asked if he killed her,
No.
Natalie's parents say they were victims of a botched investigation from the start by Aruban authorities after Vandersloot was initially arrested but then released due to a lack of evidence. Her mother returning to Aruba in 2018 to retrace her daughter's steps.
I helped her get her bag out of the car and just kissed her goodbye. Never could I have imagined.
Now, Holloway's body was never found, but a judge eventually declared that she was deceased. ABC News has learned that Vandersloot's extradition is likely to happen within a week, perhaps as early as this weekend. Michael?
All right, thank you, Whit. For more now, we're joined by ABC News Chief Legal Analyst Dan Abrams and ABC contributor and former FBI agent Brad Garrett. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us. And Brad, I want to start with you. This is very unusual. What would it have taken to get Peru?
Hey guys, after this, we have someone on the phone who had a really bad experience with the was it Aurora? Where are we at?
Police.
Yeah, the police there. So just a few more seconds, and we're going to talk about it.
Peru to extradite someone who's already behind bars there.
I would say concessions either in the economic or political world. For example, there are sanctions, travel sanctions to Peru. Perhaps the State Department has lifted those. New president in Peru, so maybe he's more inclined to help us.
And I'll add something to that, and that is that there was just an extradition at the end of April of Peru's former president back to Peru. He was living here. They'd been wanting him for years, and the process has been in place since 2018, where they've been trying to get back the former president of Peru, who was president there from 2001 to 2006, Alejandro Toledo, and he's wanted there on corruption charges. He got sent back at the end of April. I've got to believe that that is connected to this deal happening just weeks later.
Disconnecting the dots like that.
Absolutely.
Okay, this extortion and fraud charges against Vandersloot. How strong is this case against him?
Look, these are document cases. This is stuff where you have emails, etc. That tends to make these kinds of cases easier against someone like that. So I would expect they're going to have a pretty strong case to bring against him, and I expect it to move pretty quickly.
And Brad, this isn't about Natalie Holloway's disappearance, but what does it mean for her family?
I think it has big potential, George. Think about it, having Vandersloot on U.S. soil, still facing lengthy time in Peru. He may well be motivated to get out of Peru, and perhaps he might finally tell the truth.
And we heard Brad said lengthy time, Dan. He's already served 28 years for murder in Peru, got another 18 years for drug charges. What would happen even if he is convicted in the U.S.?
And that's the question we don't know the answer to, because this is what's called a temporary extradition, right? It's supposed to be for the judicial proceedings. So what happens? He's convicted here, and then they send him back to serve the rest of his time in Peru? Or he's convicted here, and he has to serve the time here first? That's something that will have to be worked out between the Peruvian and American authorities. But again, I would bet that that might have been part of whatever deal they made as to where he would serve that time if he's convicted. But it's a great question that we don't know the answer to yet.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
This morning, nearly 2 decades after Natalie Holloway disappeared.
All right, so I have a sub and a very I call you a friend who comes on the chat a lot, and I didn't actually know this about you. You was actually in Aruba I don't know how long ago, and you had a problem with the authorities there, correct?
Yeah, they are so corrupt. First, hi everyone. It's the first time I'm doing this, so I'm a little nervous.
That's okay. Hold on one second. Let me make sure.
I really do.
Thank you. Can y'all hear her in chat? Just let me know. I just want to make sure that they can hear you okay before
I signed off, so I can't read any chat. I'll answer questions. I'll come back in.
Okay, yeah.
If they have any.
Yeah.
But I don't want them to think I'm being rude by not answering.
No, you're good. Okay, they can hear you. Okay. All right, go ahead. Let's go ahead. Let's tell us what happened. Are you there? Okay, hold on one second. Sorry, we lost you there for a second. Sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay.
Now I know how it feels when other people are on there and I see that.
That's okay.
All right. Well, yeah, I will tell you what happened. This is unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. I lost my husband very young. I was like 39, and I was living in New York, and I didn't know what to do, and I needed to go on vacation. So I have timeshare, so I've been to Aruba many times. I've never had a problem. And so I go by myself this time. I lost my mom, I lost my husband, I have no children. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I go and I just go out by myself, okay? And I knew I was gonna stay on the resort and all that, and I'd be okay. Well, I rented a car, so I had the insurance. I bought their insurance, which I never do because I always cover a rental with my own insurance.
Right.
But I was out of the country.
Right.
So I'm like, you know what? Let me get everything, right?
Yeah.
So I get their insurance. I have my homeowner's insurance that covers for cars for insurance, and I have my Geico for my car. So I'm like triple covered.
Right.
So in Aruba, they have a lot of those circles. You know,
The
like when you
roundabouts.
got to go around those those roundabouts,
Yes.
right? So I'm coming down. I'm in a bathing suit and a wraparound and my beach bag, and I'm going to another resort. And I'm driving down now in New York. We have them by the beach. I come from the beach in New York, so we have them in Jones Beach, the Circle. So I'm very well aware on where you got to be situated if you're going to go in which direction.
Right.
So I'm driving and I'm coming around, and from the opposite side of me, straight, comes this car, and he comes whipping around. So in order to, we were going to have I was going to hit him. So to avoid him, I turn the wheel to the right, and he proceeds to go around the circle and take off. I end up hitting the curb on the roundabout. I hit the curb on the right side. The tire gets bent in because naturally this was a hard impact, right?
Yeah.
So now I can't move the car. I'm like, crap. I don't have a cell phone in another country. This was back in, my husband died in right after 9/11. So this is like years ago. I didn't have a cell phone then in Aruba with me anyway. So I flagged down a guy, and he's from Aruba. He's an Arubian. And I said, please, sir, can you call this rental car company? You know, it gives you the number on the key of, if anything, to call them.
Right.
So I said, can you please call them? And also call me a police officer. I need an officer here. So the man does that, and I'm on the phone with the rental car. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like Budget or something like that. Anyway, I'm on the phone, and they said, okay, can you drive it? I said, I think I could, but it's really like shaking and it's not good.
Right.
And I said, I need another car. So they said, all right, take it to, where are you? I told them where I was. They said, take it to the resort right there and wait in the lobby, and we'll have an officer come and meet you. I said, fine. I get the car there. I'm shaking. I am shaking in my boots, right? I get there. I'm in the lobby. And like, again, I'm in a bathing suit and a wraparound. I'm like, oh, Jesus, here we go, you know? And I'm kind of built like Marissa, but they're real. So, you know, I'm almost subconscious here.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, good Lord. I was like, what do I do? All right. So anyway, I'm sitting there. I see a guy, this is where you're not going to believe this, a guy cop and a female. They come up. So I get up and I stick out my hands, my arms, to shake their hands and say, hi, I'm Lori. I'm Lori. I'm the one that just called you. When I stick my arm out, my hand to shake their hand, the woman officer slaps on a handcuff, whips it around my back, and puts the other handcuff, and now they got me over the counter in the lobby of this very prestigious resort. I start shaking. I am like,
God.
what are you doing? I go, what are you doing? I'm the one that called you. They said, we're putting you under arrest for leaving the scene of an accident. I said, wait a minute now. You got to understand, I don't know how I thought so quickly. I think it's the New York street quick thinker.
Right.
I turn around. I go, listen, you think you got Holloway problems? I said, my father is a judge. My father died when I was 6. Yeah. I said, my sister works for the airlines. She's a secretary. I go, my brother's a cop. I go, they'll be down here ripping you apart in no time. You better uncuff me right now. So I'm lying through my teeth. I mean, like, these people aren't. My brother's an AC guy who fixes ACs. I'm like, so I was like flipping, but right. So now they uncuff me. And I said, I am the one that called you. I said, I avoided an accident. Look at here. You will find. I drew them everything. I said, now go outside and look at the tire. You will see the same marks about what I'm talking about and the location. You could see it. They said, you're not in the United States anymore. You're in our country. You're ours now. You're going to have to pay us $5,000 to get out of here. And I My mouth dropped open.
Now, was this
I
at the
said,
jail?
okay.
Was this at the jail?
No, this was right in the lobby. I never got past the lobby of the resort that they asked me to stay in.
So they were bribing you.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I need to make a phone call. So they said, okay. So I call up American Express because that's who my whole trip is on. That's who the car is listed under, the whole 9 yards. And I get on with American Express. I have no parents. Nobody was going to help me. I'm in another country by myself. I'm like, what am I going to do? So I call American Express and I whisper and I'm like, listen, I'm in Aruba. I'm in another country. I go on by myself. They're extorting me for $5,000. I said to get out. I said, please allow me. I will get all the proof you need. Allow me to charge $5,000 or what she said to me. Miss Lo Cicero. Oh, I just doxed myself. All right, now you get the Lori Lowe. All right. Anyway, so I said, sorry. So I said, she said, we are giving you an open line. She said, you charge whatever you have to. Get out of there, okay? And I said, thank you. So I hang up the phone. So I being raised in the city in New York, very street smart, but I was shitting bricks, I'm telling you.
Naturally.
But I don't know how I composed myself. So I turned around and I said, okay, I will give you the $5,000. However, I want a flatbed truck here right now for this car. I want a replacement rental car. I go, because I got to get to the airport and back to my hotel and everything.
Yeah.
I said, and I don't want you driving this car, creating more damage and charging me for it.
Right.
So, and I said, I want pictures of the undercarriage. I want pictures of everything with the license plate, the car. I want pictures of everything. So they said, then they started talking in Arubian.
Right.
Well, that was all I needed. I started crying. Like I sobbed like a baby. And the woman they were playing good cop, bad cop. The woman was a nasty bitch. And the guy was nice. And he's going, well, what she's saying and drawing and what is on this car, it seems pretty logical. She says, why are you crying? I said, why are you speaking a different language? I don't know what you're saying. You were just speaking English 2 minutes ago. So she says, you're in our country. And I said, yeah, and I will never come here again. I said, so they leave, my car comes, everything gets done the way I asked because I then prior to that called up the rental car and told them what was going on, and they brought the flatbed, they did, because that's their car, so they want to protect their car. And that's who I think I clarified it again with them on. I wanted pictures of everything, because I don't know what they're going to do to this car. They could crash it and charge me for
Absolutely.
it. $5,000 was nothing compared to a new car. So, okay, next day, they want me out of the country the next day. I had like another 6-7 days there. They are asking me to leave the next day. I'm like, if I could get on the plane right now, I would.
No doubt.
If I was dressed, I would have left my clothes. I swear to God, I would have left everything and bought new clothes. But I was in a bathing suit, and I was not going to the airport like this. So anyway, get back to my hotel. Next day, I'm shaking. I won't even go out to the pool after that. I was in the room shaking, nobody to call. I'm talking to my dead husband, Louis, help me, tell me what to do. I don't know what to do. I'll never travel out of the country alone again. I just won't. Not to Aruba. So anyway, next day I get there and they give me pictures. The police met me at the airport. I don't know how they knew when my next flight was. I don't know what they did. To this day, I have no idea how these people knew. I booked the next flight. I have Justin, I swear on my husband, everything I'm saying is the truth. I have no idea how they found out. They met me there. They give me these pictures, and I look at them, and I said, first of all, this is not the license plate that was on the car that I was driving. I said, here's my paperwork. This is the license plate. I said, this is not even the year of the car. It's the same car, but it's not the year. Now I'm pissed. So you get me mad. Now I'm going to get nasty. I'm not scared anymore. So I'm like, I can't believe you were doing this. I said, I have timeshare here. I frequent this place once a year. How could you do this? And they're like, and that's all they kept saying. You're not in the United States anymore. You're not. I'm like, oh God. I wanted the F-bomb. I had to hold it in because I was afraid they'd throw me in jail. And that would be the end of me. So anyway, I got on the plane. I came home. I called up American Express. I gave them all the pictures. I sent them everything. They minus me the $5,000. I said, you're not responsible for this. Don't worry about it. She said to me, do yourself a favor. I said, what? She said, don't use this rental car company ever again anywhere. You are flagged with them. They will flag you.
Yeah.
And never go to Aruba again. And I said, you don't have to tell me that twice. I go, I'm never going back there. And it is gorgeous. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, the weather. And that's my story. And I'm telling you, I could not believe how they were going to extort me. And I knew that they were going to do worse. They were going to do worse.
Oh, yeah.
With me. They were trying. But I think because I thought quickly enough to say my father, my sister, this one, that one.
Yes.
It just rolled off my tongue. And I was like looking around like, how did I come up with that? Like, I was shocking myself.
Well,
how did I even think of that?
I'm telling you, people should be glad that we live where we live.
We always complain like things are getting bad, but let me tell you something. It's still the greatest country in the United States. Well, I don't care what anybody says.
Absolutely.
We all have,
My husband is from the Middle East, right? And there, you don't call the cops because every single cop is going to do that to you there. You have to pay them. You have to pay them to go arrest someone or to do something for you. They're not just going to do it. They're not just going to do it. And even judges are like that there.
Oh, see, I'm really law abiding. I don't do, like, I forgot to tell you, when they said that, I said, I avoided an accident. The woman cop says, we don't avoid, that's not the rule here. You're not in the United States anymore. And I said, what are you talking about? She said, you have to hit them here so that you have the person that you came in contact with, like you have their information.
Yeah.
I said, what? I said, that is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life. I said, she goes, well, you're not in the United States, in our accent. I was, holy crap. So they literally want you to have the accident there so that you have a fight in knowing who it was, because they said to me, where is the guy? And I said, I don't know. I don't even know who he was. I was avoiding a car. And
they could have even tried to cause you to wreck. You know how those people, like, you're driving down the road and they do like a quick brake check?
You're right.
They do like a quick brake check. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You're right. I never even thought of that after all these years.
One time me and my husband we were in Mexico and we was in not a touristy area, and we kind of stop, and there's a little boy to the side and he throws muddy water on our car like that, and then he starts cleaning our windshield.
Oh yeah, they do that in Manhattan.
Yeah, he throws muddy water. He has this bucket of like muddy water.
Oh, muddy water. Oh, okay.
Like that, and then starts cleaning it. And the kid couldn't have been no more than 10 years old.
Oh.
And I felt sorry for him, and I just handed him money.
Yeah, you see, that's how I am. That's how I am. And everybody turns around and says, stop giving stuff. I said, listen, if shame on me if I lost $1 or $2. What's the big deal? You know what I mean? Like,
right.
if I'm like, at least I know I in my heart I did the right thing.
Right.
Like I tried to do the right thing with the homeless. I try to feed them before I will give them money. And I tell them now, like, you can't be too hungry if you don't want to. If you're turning down this sandwich or any sandwich and you want money, then that's for drugs and alcohol, and I'm not contributing to that. But if you're hungry, I'll feed you whatever you want. I'll take you into a restaurant.
That's right.
That's how I operate.
Same
but
way.
in Manhattan, they will when you're at a light because they want money, they will just come over and start cleaning your windshield. Or they don't throw anything bad on it like mud or dirt or anything because it's concrete in Manhattan.
Right.
But they'll like start. They actually make it worse. They start wiping it, and you got to really quickly either just hand them something or turn on your windshield wiper, and then they know, leave me alone.
Yeah.
But it's like you learn like all the little techniques. I'll tell you one thing, and then I'll get off. I was in Vegas, and all the homeless are on the street and they're all asking for money and they're all begging for money and stuff and everything. And I said, I'll be broke before I even get in the casino. I go, all right. So all of a sudden there's this guy and it says, why lie? I need a drink on his sign. So I busted out laughing and I said, here, you get $5 for honesty.
Yeah.
So I give him $5, right? Because he made me laugh, right?
Yes.
I go down the next block. They have the same sign. I said, son of a bitch, I was taking.
I would rather,
but it was the first time.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're being honest. You know what I mean?
I know. But like, I thought it was like so unique to see that, they write soft stories. God bless you. They all use God. They all do everything. And then you come up to one that's got a sign that says, why lie? I need a drink.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. And then I get to the next block and someone else has the same sign. I said, I don't believe it. I just got taken for $5. But it was funny. And I said, you know what? I would have threw it in the spot anyway. What's the difference?
Exactly.
What can you do? But so, Justin, that was my story. I don't know if I'm live, nothing. I love everyone here. Thank you so much for listening.
Of course.
And I'll see you in the chat.
All right, honey. Thank you for calling.
Have a blessed day.
You too.
All
right.
Okay.
Bye-bye. Wow. So she really, guy needs a drink, right? He didn't lie, at least. I think there was someone else who wanted to say something. If there was in chat, just let me know before we end this. If somebody else wanted to tell a story, I don't know if it was about Aruba related Natalie Holloway. I believe Natalie Holloway's mother, Beth Holloway, and John Ramsey, Jean Benet's father, I think they dated for a while, allegedly. I believe that they dated for a little bit. Please check my text, okay? Okay, gotcha. Thank you for that. I see you. Okay. All right. Yeah, very good story. Thank you, my dear, for calling that in. Guys, I will be back at 6 p.m. Eastern this evening. We will be talking about the Summer Wells case. We are getting very close to the 2 years of Summer Wells missing. I haven't heard a lot of people talk about Summer's Day as it was last year. Like last year, I felt like it was more talked about, maybe as it gets a little closer, people will talk about it more. So I don't know who's kind of doing it this year, who's like the main people taking care of it. So grand jury meets June 1st. That's good to know, Smiley. Grand jury meets June 1st. It's been 2 years, and sometimes it feels like it's been 20 years related to Summer Wells, when it comes to this story, because it just seems like it's been on and on and on. And then other ways you think of it, it's like it doesn't feel like it's been long at all. But that's good to know. Grand jury meets June 1st. You heard that, Don and Candace? Okay, Darzilla, thank you so much. I feel like this might be... Yeah, I think something's moving. Something is moving. I really feel like it now, because Don and Candace, pertaining to the boys, I think it's over for them. So the Real Me Too, yeah, there's supposed to be Summer's Day, which is June 15th. I went last year. I may go this year. Just depends. So we'll see. Got a lot to talk about at 6 o'clock this evening Eastern. And then I think after my live, Trevor will be live. And then Josh from the lab, he has a live scheduled. He's been gone for maybe 9 or 10 days. Yeah, the dye jobs, they got their hair did. And they're trying to sell their property now. Oh, you were twin mom T. Oh, you was with me last year. Aw. That's awesome. I had a good time with you guys last year. It was a beautiful, beautiful time, to say the least. So yeah. Justice for Summer. Amen. All right, guys. I'll see y'all 6 o'clock Eastern. And I'll be live till about 8 o'clock, 6 to 8. And then Trevor will be live probably from 8 to 9 or 9:30, and then Josh will be live after that. So you'll have a full evening. Full evening. Did you see any sale signs? What do you mean, Mary? Yes, center. I don't know what you mean by sale signs. Yep, you can put a purple light out on your front porch or anything as well. Yeah. All right, guys. Love you all. I'll see y'all in a little bit. Thank you guys so much for joining me. And, it's been... No, Mary, I haven't seen any for sale signs. I don't know, if they're actually going to end up selling it or not. Who knows? Smiley says it's not on the market. Maybe they're just trying to sell it privately. Or maybe they're not trying to sell it at all. Who knows? But maybe they can't sell it either. Maybe they're not allowed to sell it. That could be a reason too. They don't want to talk about it. They don't want to talk about a lot, Smiley. You know that? They don't want to talk about a lot. So, just the way it is. But finally, it feels like you're starting to get a little justice for Natalee Holloway. 18 years in the works. You have a purple candle saving it for June 15th. Amazing. Awesome. Make sure you put it on your YouTube or your Twitter or your YouTube or Facebook on June 15th and hashtag Justice for Summer so everyone can see it. All right, guys. Love you all. I'll see you later. Okay, Josh is scheduled for 8. Okay. Don't say anything for Trevor. Okay. Okay, so I'll be live at 6 to 8, and then Josh will be live at 8.